Hi, everyone. Welcome to Audacy's DTS Soundspace Sunday. My name is Nicole Alvarez, and I'm here with the lovely Nessa Barrett. Hi, Nessa.
Hi, how are you?
We met a little while ago, but again, we'll do it for everybody to watch. I'm Nicole, and it is a pleasure to meet you because I feel like I kind of know you. You know how that social media thing happens where I've been following you for, what? You've been on there since like 2019?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So I follow you and you start to think that you know somebody. In reality, you don't. And it's such a pleasure to meet you and then see this whole other side of you.
Thank you.
Do you find that happens a lot when people meet you, that they have expectations of who they think you are?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think social media in general is just a place for people to judge you. And, people already have, their idea of you before they even, get to, say hi, face to face in person. And that just tends to happen a lot. A lot of people think that I'm just someone that I'm really not. And then they meet me and they're like, oh, wait, you're actually nice. And I'm like, what?
And there's more to you. But in social media, would you say it's a necessary evil? Like, we need it, but would you be happy without it?
I mean, currently I don't even have any on my phone, and I've probably been the happiest that I've ever been without it.
Would you recommend that other people do that? Because I have noticed, like I said, I follow you, and there's so many people that want to get, or they want to drag your personal life into things, and you just want to have fun and live your life, and you're focusing on music, and I've noticed, which is very smart, that you very gracefully step back from it.
Yeah.
Did somebody advise you to do that, or did something inside you, like did your mental health check come up, and just your brain said it's time to step back?
No, yeah, totally. I think it was a mental health check, It's kind of like you have to be a certain type of strong to deal with negative opinions about you. And those that kind of, are already so insecure about themselves. I think social media can be such a damaging place, and it's just a false reality.
Yep.
And that's why I kind of decided to get away from it.
All right, let's talk about music. So first, let's rewind a little bit. So many people watching are just getting to know you. You are exploding onto the scene like the star that you are. You're getting played on so many alternative rock stations, in between huge older bands like the Chili Peppers and Coldplay and whatnot. And then along comes Nessa Barrett. How old are you and where are you from?
I am 18 and I am from New Jersey.
Would they consider you're like Gen Z, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how would you describe your generation?
I don't know. I feel like there's just...
Would you say hopeful, positive? Would you say that you're carrying the weight of the past world on your shoulder?
No, yeah. I mean, I think the overall description, I feel like for me, for Gen Z, would probably be I feel like everyone is kind of chasing really big dreams, and everyone's working really hard and kind of doing things that most people that wouldn't do back then when they were 18. I think we're kind of brave in a way.
So let me ask you, when did music first kind of come knocking on your door? Were you a little girl that fell in love with a song? Do you come from a musical background? Or when was it that you started dreaming of being on the stage?
Well, my dad actually is he just loves music.
Yeah.
Since I was born, I grew up with a studio in my house always. I recorded my first song when I was 4 in the studio. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Do you have that anywhere?
Yes, I do. I have it saved. It's me and my dad's song. So my dad rapped, and then I was singing in it when I was 4.
Oh my God.
And so, it's always been insanely influenced by my family. My mom has amazing music tastes. She's just incredible. And so, yeah, I feel like
So it was always around. I grew up in that kind of house where they were always playing music, but I can't do what you do, so I just go to a lot of concerts. But when did you start dreaming the big dream where you started to see yourself on stage?
Oh, I mean, I don't know exactly when, but I just know that from the age of 9 to 16, every birthday that I had, I would blow out my candle, and my wish was always to be a singer. I got a dog back home, and I named her Callie because I wanted to move out to California and Hollywood, and
wow.
It's just always been a big dream, and it's just so crazy.
Well, that's not that crazy because here you are now. But who was the one that came knocking on your door and said, all right, if you have this dream, let's do it? Who gave you, I guess you could say, your first chance?
It's a really good question. I think that, I was coming out to LA when I gained a platform on social media, and I started actually singing on TikTok, and that was something that I was very vulnerable about. I'm very,
because you're putting it out there.
No.
And what was your following? So you had a pretty big following from the beginning, and you would do, like the dances and the funny stuff. But what was your following like before you started putting yourself out there? What were you at? Like 5 million?
No, yeah, I'm gonna say I'm like 3 million.
That's still
yeah.
freaking huge.
Yeah.
And then you decided to just put yourself out there. And then did you find that it was a supportive community and it made you want to do it more, or did it scare you?
No, I thought everyone was so supportive, and I was shocked almost, just because it's been such a big dream of mine, but also when I would sing at home and all of this stuff, the one comment that everyone would make about my singing is that my voice is so unique, and as a little girl, that doesn't sound like the best compliment, and I was like, oh, okay, they're just trying to let me down gently, but then
It's a really nice backhanded compliment.
yeah, I know. So when I posted my very first TikTok singing videos, I got a really amazing response from everyone, and I think that kind of pushed me to be okay, I think I might actually be able to do something that I've always wanted to do. And then I think from that video, a owner of a studio actually saw that and then asked me to come in and work on some music, and I did, and it started ever since.
And did it feel right? Right away, did you know I can do this?
Oh yeah, I mean, I jumped in, and just the vibe of being in a studio, in the booth, it just felt like home.
Because you grew up like that. That makes total sense. Now, as far as the lyrics and the things that you're putting out there into the world, they're very, very vulnerable, and they're very, very raw, and you're opening yourself up to having people relate to you, and I think that's amazing, to be a self-aware artist, a la Billie Eilish, for example, who's very self-aware, but you're also opening yourself up to a lot of critique. So how do you handle that part? How do you keep your head in check?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest reason kind of why that I chose to stay so authentic and real with everyone was just because I wanted to stay humble, and grounded, and never forget who I am and where I came from. And it does hurt, when you get comments that you don't really want to hear, like critiques, like you said, especially when I'm being so vulnerable. But I don't know. I just think everything's a learning process,
Yep.
and so I can't really let everything get to me.
No, one thing that I learned that you might have learned this too, is that when people are critiquing you, the kind of people, you learn a lot about other humans. The kind
Yeah.
of people that critique are broken people, they're hurt people. They've got nothing to do. So it's easier to let that go because you just have to stay focused on your dream and your path. And so far, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Watching your excitement when you were going on Kimmel and Ellen, it wasn't just you weren't just posting the videos and the picture, but you were genuinely what is happening to my life right now? So when you were there, were you able to be in the moment, or was it one of those things that you don't even remember it happening because it was so surreal?
No, yeah. I mean, it almost feels like a dream. You know, how you can kind of remember bits and pieces, but not everything. That's kind of what my Kimmel and Ellen performances feel like. I feel like I haven't even felt it completely yet because I'm still so in denial. Yeah. I'm there's no way. But it's crazy, and my family would be oh my God, I just saw you, and I'm
It's not just that, and millions and millions of people are seeing you, and now with working with Travis Barker, what's that like? Because we play La Di Da like crazy, and hearing you and Travis and Jaden, it's literally everywhere. So is that humbling, or is that still a pinch me moment?
To be honest, the first time I recorded my vocals with Travis, I was so shaky just because it's that's Travis Barker,
Yeah.
I remember being in middle school and listening to I Miss You by Blink, and it's just what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's like a pinch me moment, but also at the same time, like he is such like a humble and down to earth person himself, so it doesn't even feel like it's Travis, but he
Yeah.
doesn't like act,
He's so down. He's salt of the earth,
Yeah.
that one.
Mhm.
All right. So now the world is opening up, and you're kind of this rise to fame that you're experiencing outside of just social media has been happening during a pandemic. So these live performances where you're kind of getting your feet wet haven't happened just yet. You're doing them still under COVID restrictions. Let's say the world opens up completely and boom, you get invited to play at a festival. The second I say that, do you feel nervous or are you like, let's go?
It's like a mix.
It's a mix.
Like I instantly want to smile and be like, "Oh my god," but it's also like that's so many people.
That's so many
It's
people.
crazy, you know? I don't know, but I'm excited. I think that like once I have like my first show, I'll be like, "Okay, I got it now." Like
Yeah.
the nerves will be like calmed down, but it's just like crazy to even think that like more than like 10 people would want to even sit there and watch me sing.
Well, what's the biggest audience you've ever played for so far? Not including like, I'm not saying like TV viewing audiences, but like here where people can't see, but we're in a pretty private space with a handful of people. I'm assuming you've done this
Yeah.
tons of times, but have you played like maybe a mini show?
No, never. I mean,
Oh my
this might
goodness.
sound so embarrassing, but
I
the
wanna
closest
be-
I've gotten, like, like school choir,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going different level, and I have to be there for this. I've really enjoyed getting to know you because it's not that I had a perception of who you were, but I only knew you on social media, and I follow all of the things, and I've got a pretty strong mind, so I didn't think you were one way or another. But meeting you, you're a dreamer. That's what you are. You're a dreamer, and you're a hard worker, and it's been lovely to get to know you. So what is next? What is the next dream that you want to check off the list?
I really do want to, like, release a project. Like,
Do you have
EP,
anything in the
album.
works?
I do have an EP in the works.
Okay.
I'm actually so excited for it because I know that it's going to, like, be so real. And, like, that's just going to be, like, me.
Is that therapy for you when you're able to sing the lyrics that you sing and then write and then create your own songs? Is that therapy, and is that a way that you process the world?
No, yeah, it's the best therapy that I could ever get. It's just like how I cope. I'm not really the type of person to open up to many people because I feel kind of ashamed for like my mental health at some points. And when I'm able to just like write down lyrics explaining exactly how I feel, but like not at the same time, I know what they mean to me. It's like how I cope, and then the fact that it's kind of like a weight is lifted off my shoulders too, because in a sense, like when everyone hears it, when it's out, I'm like opening up and like releasing everything that I've like bottled up inside. But I'm so excited.
And that's great for mental health. And just think of all the people that are listening that can relate to you in that way, and then it just becomes like one big healing festival. So what you're doing is actually, again, and I say this all the time, and I want people to start kind of living it, vulnerability is a superpower. So the more that we open ourselves up, I think the better off we are, and you are on a great track. Last question, what have you done to connect with your fans throughout this entire madness that is the pandemic?
I mean, I've done like virtual meet and greets and stuff, but I think the fact that I used to, tweet and like talk to them a lot and like go live and like talk about my feelings, and I think that like that connects with them more than anything, because like they like knowing that like even someone that they like idolize is going through similar problems as them. So yeah.
Yeah, and you've also been good, like for the most part, you've stayed on social media, you're taking that step back.
Yeah.
And I think another way that you've connected is just releasing the music.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think people can relate to, because you always have the songs to lean on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very, very last question. Out of everything that you've gotten to do so far, what's been the biggest pinch me moment for you? The one that you're like, all right, now things are getting ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to say Ellen.
Ellen?
Honestly.
Why Ellen?
I grew up like watching.
She's Ellen, yeah.
I'm just watching
Yeah.
her and seeing like all of these like talented kids and stuff like go on there and everything, and just remember like being in my living room at home, like watching it and being like, oh my God, I wish. Like that has been a dream like forever. And you know, when I kind of was able to perform, I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm close to making it, you know?
Yeah, and it was a beautiful performance. Now, before we go, if there's a message that you'd like to give to your fans, you know, the ones that have been with you through thick and thin, up and down, what would you like to say to your fans?
I love you guys so much and never stop giving up and just know that it's okay to not be okay.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This is the lovely Nessa Barrett, and you just watched Audacy's DTS Soundspace Sunday. I'm Nicole Alvarez. Mwah. Goodbye.